Hello everyone. So on this day of Labor Day, we are here with a very important and very informative video in which I will be dealing with certain laws, certain labor laws to be specific, which are basically related to women or which are basically providing the provisions for the advancement of women. So basically बहुत सारे लॉज हम देखेंगे जिसमें कुछ लेबर लॉज हैं एंड इन द एंड आई विल बी डीलिंग विद द मेन स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द पॉश एक्ट, दैट इज द प्रिवेंशन ऑफ sexual harassment of women at workplace act, which is a very important law for the protection of women, working women to be specific, from the act of sexual harassment. But before that, let's look at some of the specific labor laws on some specific subject matters dealing with the provisions regarding protection of working women. Let's see. So as we can see, the very first law is the Maternity Benefit Act of 1961. So as the name suggests, maternity benefit. So the objective of this law is to provide the maternity reliefs or the maternity related benefits to the working women. And basically the policy of this law is, it lies in Article 42 of the Indian Constitution, which actually imposes a directive principle upon the state to secure or to maintain the provisions for maternity reliefs for working women. और उसी पॉलिसी, उसी विजन के साथ ये लॉ बनाया गया जिसके अकॉर्डिंग जितनी भी वर्किंग वुमेन है, दे आर बीइंग प्रोवाइडेड द maternity benefits in the form of the maternity leaves, to be specific. That it has been given in this law that each and every working woman will be getting a maternity leave which may be before the date of delivery or after the date of delivery. So considering the nature of job, कि अगर government employee है तो the maternity, the tenure, the term of maternity leave or is different. The maternity leave is different. But if any other employee that is other than the government employee, then the term of that leave is different. But the relief is there for each and every working woman, be it a government employee or a non-government employee. But the maternity benefits or the maternity leave is there for every working woman as per the Maternity Benefits Act, that she will be given a particular amount of leaves which she can utilize either before the date of delivery or after the date of delivery. She can also use some of the leaves before and the rest of the leaves after, or she can use the entire leave at the same time. That is up to her. But she will be entitled. This will be during the pregnancy and post termination of the pregnancy. These benefits are given to such females. Also, during her pregnancy, as per this act, during her pregnancy, she would not be she would be basically allowed to say no to any kind of work which includes a tiring activity or which includes long standing hours, etc. She would not be doing that. So she will have so many reliefs. The most important one is the maternity leave which is there for the women, because again, motherhood is something which is very special to any woman, and giving a good upbringing to the child requires time. For that purpose, these reliefs are given to the working women in this act. And if such reliefs are not given, then this act also provides for the procedural mechanism as to how the remedy can be sought by such woman. So that is about the Maternity Benefit Act of 1961. Another act which deals with the provisions regarding working women is the Factories Act of 1948. As we all know, the basic purpose of the Factories Act of 1948 is to make rules and regulations for the working class, to make rules and regulations for those who are working. And rules and regulations includes maintaining the sanitation, maintaining healthy working environment, etc. But specifically, this law has certain provisions which deals with only the rules regarding women, in which it has been mentioned that if any woman is working, then she will be supplied with separate washrooms with doors. She will be supplied with a crutch facility if the number of females working there exceeds 30. Then the crutch facility should also be supplied by the employer. Also, the health, sanitary and the other safe working conditions should be basically guaranteed by the employer. In such provisions, it has been mentioned that the employer has the duty to maintain a healthy, clean, safe environment and good sanitary conditions for the working females. A working woman will not be told to work for more than 5 hours in a day and more than 48 hours in a week. So at a stretch, she has to work only maximum for 5 hours. Or in a week, it should not exceed more than 48 hours. Also, there were some provisions regarding night shifts also. Earlier, it was restricted. But now, after the amendment, night shift has been allowed, but not absolutely, with certain restrictions. That there is a basic time gap कि इस time से इस time के बीच में ही she will be allowed और इस time से इस time के बीच में she will not be allowed. So those restrictions are there, but then there are provisions regarding night shifts. So basically Factories Act also deals with certain provisions जैसे मैंने अभी आपको बताया. Also there are certain provisions for remedies, that if the employer fails to guarantee all these things to the working woman under the Factories Act, there are remedies which are available. There is a procedural mechanism which can be availed. So after the Factories Act, let's come to another important law in which there are certain provisions regarding the working women, that is the Equal Remuneration Act of 1976. The equal remuneration, as the name suggests, that it guarantees equal remuneration, equal wages to all, irrespective of any kind of discrimination, specifically on the basis of gender. That basically, ये जो act है, इसकी policy, it lies in Article 39 of the Indian Constitution, which states that there has to be equal pay for equal work for both men and women. तो उसके according कोई भी worker है, female या male, the remuneration or the rate of wages, the rate of remuneration will be equal for same or similar work. So if a male and female, they are engaged in a similar activity, both should be given equal pay and there should be no discrimination on the basis of gender while deciding the rate or the remuneration or the wages of the workers. That is the guarantee and that is the policy or the purpose of the Equal Remuneration Act of 1976. After that, same policy पे based एक और law है, that is Minimum Wages Act of 1948. So the Minimum Wages Act, as the name suggests, that it guarantees a minimum wage to be given to each and every worker for the work done. Even if that worker has done a less amount of work, still there has to be a minimum standard wages which has to be fixed under this act, and that minimum wage should be given to that worker irrespective of the quantity of work. Because in order to maintain a basic livelihood, in order to maintain a basic lifestyle, एक basic wages is something which is most essential for each one of us. So for that purpose, this act guarantees that a minimum wage or minimum standard wage is to be given to each and every person who is working, and in deciding the rate of those minimum wages there has to be no discrimination on the basis of gender. Again, isko hum bol sakte hain that this law is also based upon Article 38 of the Indian Constitution or Article 39 of the Indian Constitution also, which basically, because this leads to social welfare, social justice, and no discrimination can be done on the basis of gender in cases of deciding the minimum wages. So the minimum wages will be same for both male as well as female. Then after these specific laws, we have one of the most important law related to females, specifically regarding working women. This law is very important because it talks about Prohibition of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act of 2013. So as we all know that this act was enacted after the Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan judgment, and it provides the mechanism that if any working woman has been subject to the act of sexual harassment at her workplace, then what is the procedural mechanism? How she has to file the complaint, what is the procedure, etc. All those things have been given under this law. Again, we can say that this law has been enacted specifically in the interest of women, that is basically given under Article 15 Clause 3 of the Indian Constitution, which actually empowers the state to make special laws for the benefit of women and children. उसी power को use करते हुए and Article 39 को use करते हुए that there shall be no discrimination in workplaces on the basis of gender, उसको use करते हुए हमने ये law बनाया है, that is also known as the POSH Act, all right, of 2013. Now this is a very special law because it has a definition clause which exhaustively defines some of the most important terms when it comes to workplaces. For example, the term workplace has been exhaustively defined. The term employer, the term employee, the term sexual harassment, that for the purpose of this act, what is the meaning of the term sexual harassment, and a very wide approach has been given in defining all these terms. So for that purpose, इसमें बहुत ही important definitions दी गई है, और सिर्फ definitions नहीं, it has also provided for two different committees whenever there is a sexual harassment upon any woman at her workplace. So complaint can be filed either in the internal complaint committee or the local complaint committee. Internal complaint committee is always formed by the employer of the organization, whereas एक लोकल कंप्लेंट कमिटी वहां पे फॉर्म की जाती है जहां इंटरनल कंप्लेंट कमिटी नहीं है. तो फिर डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिसर एक लोकल कंप्लेंट कमिटी बनाते हैं, वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे होती है. तो दो कमिटीज के बारे में, उन कमिटीज का कॉम्पोजिशन क्या होगा, उन कमिटीज में जो मेंबर्स हैं उनके टर्म्स क्या होंगे, एटसेट्रा, एवरीथिंग हैज बीन गिवन अंडर दिस लॉ. Also, it provides for the most important procedure that if a working woman has been subject to the act of sexual harassment at her workplace, then she has to file a complaint within 3 months of the date of incident, और ये जो time है, it can be extended further by 3 months, not exceeding 3 months. तो basically 3 months में करना है, extend किया जा सकता है by 3 months, but within such period, the complaint has to be filed by the aggrieved woman or any other person on her behalf. Also, once the complaint is made, तो उसी complaint पे, अब ये complaint या तो ICC में की जाएगी या LCC, जो मैंने अभी आपको committees बताई, either of the committee में complaint की जाएगी. After receiving the complaint, the committee starts with the inquiry. The inquiry which is to be completed within 90 days of receiving the complaint. लेकिन जब inquiry चल रही है, उसके दौरान भी, उसके बीच में भी, the woman can be given certain reliefs. For example, she can be transferred to another workplace, another branch. She can be given a leave during the term of inquiry. So these are the some kinds of reliefs that she can claim, interim reliefs. But after the completion of this inquiry, the committee, जो भी required according जो भी committee है ICC या LCC, they will be making a report as to what is the outcome of that inquiry. That report is to be submitted either to the employer or to the district officer. To the employer जब internal complaint committee ने inquiry करी है, to the district officer जब local complaint committee ने inquiry करी है. On receiving such reports, then the employer or the district officer will be acting accordingly, that whatever is the outcome कि उस report में या तो guilty है या not guilty है, whatever is the outcome, accordingly the employer or the district officer will be acting. And then there are certain penal provisions which are also given. So basically this is an exhaustive law talking about the subject matter. The subject matter here is sexual harassment on women at workplace. So this is a very special law and it is very important for each and every woman who is working. So as working women, we all should be basically aware about our rights. We should be aware about our remedies, our reliefs which are available in different laws. हमें पता होना चाहिए कि हमारे पास क्या rights है as working women, क्या remedies है, so that whenever it is required, we can avail them. So basically, these are the laws which specifically provide for certain provisions regarding working women. So that is all about today's video. I hope it was useful for you. So that is all. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, have a nice day. Take care. Thank you so much.